What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. So Zilean, this is the League of Legends champion I'm going to be covering today. So yeah, let's kick things off with the bio. In fact, before that, there is no greater grief than for a loss that is yet to come. I guess in Zilean's case, so that's kind of irrelevant since he can be brought back to life with his ultimate. And also, he can bring anyone else back to life as well. In fact, before I actually jump into the bio, one thing I want to say is a short story where Acrtual once stood. I'm not going to read that. I'm going to read that in a separate video since that's quite a long story. I want to dedicate a separate video to that. So this video for Zilean will be slightly longer, slightly shorter than normal. Anyways, let's jump into the bio and then we'll move on to the skins. Acrtual, most desolate and cursed of lands, was not always so. There was a rich and diverse civilization ruled by benevolent Axamuk. Last of the mage kings of old. Now, who were we reading? Was it in Jax's bio we found out that the last mage king was killed? So that I believe that must have been him. As the Shuriman Empire expanded across the continent, Axamuk, I think that's how you pronounce it, calls for peace, coexistence were ignored, and his armies destroyed by the god warriors of the ascended host. Though humbled by this defeat, many Acrtualians saw an opportunity for mutual advancement, accepting an offer of autonomous strape. What does that just mean, like harmony? I'm guessing there. Must be. They installed a governing council of distinguished mages, philosophers and lawmakers to oversee the transition of power. After almost 9 centuries of imperial rule, a young man named Zilean joined the council's ranks. He was an elemental mage with a prestigious understanding of physical reality who had studied under the greatest minds of the age, from the great Yun of Ital to the astromancers of Faraj and countless others besides. There was one component of the material realm that few had ever truly grasped, but Zilean was determined to master. Time. Time was the one inescapable constant in all things. Even the mighty god warriors were not immune to its passage, though they were revered above all others in Shuriman culture. As part of the political establishment, Zilean now saw more clearly the smouldering discontent among the citizens of Acrtual. While their land was home to some of the most heroic leaders and revolutionary thinkers in the empire, no one had ever been deemed worthy of ascension. Again and again the council submitted petitions to the distant emperor, yet access to the sun disk was denied with that explanation. For all they gave, it seemed Acrtualians would never be seen as equals. Interesting. So even though they've kind of formed some kind of union with Shurima, Shurima obviously sees them as second-class citizens, but I never knew that they were part of this council and they could nominate people from their own tribe in essence to go and potentially be ascended. Never knew that. Zilean's own resentment grew, yet he was worried by open talks of secession among his peers. He was a patriot though, and through and through should I say, but in the face of the ascended host, any rebellion could only end in calamity for his people. Seeking a diplomatic solution, he went as an envoy to neighbouring Karlik, Kaduga and Ital. He had made many allies in his lifetime and he implored them to stand with Acrtual. Each time the answer was the same: they would not defy Shurima. If Zilean's people wanted to, they could do so alone. Returning home, he was shocked to find the council had decided to crown a new mage king. Breathlessly, joyously, they told Zilean of the ancient and forbidden power they had discovered, which is a void. A power so great it would all but guarantee Acrtual's victory. They told Zilean of the power of the void. So this is going to tie in nicely with the story that I'm going to read later on. He looked at those reasoned wise Acrtualians, but saw only madness in their eyes. As much as it grieved him, Zilean would rather his homeland's resolution be crushed than to let this abomination be set loose. As he tried to escape the capital, the ground shook, buildings toppled, such horrors as had no place in his world, or the next erupted from the depths, driving terrified citizens before them. They were trapped. Hundreds of thousands of innocents would die. In desperation, Zilean urged as many as he could to take refuge in his tower, and they did the impossible. He removed the entire structure from time. Okay, that does sound impossible. Crashing to the cold floor, his power spent, Zilean looked at the frozen figures all around him. The void was halted, but only within those walls. Outside, where Acrtual once stood, there was nothing. Okay. Zilean has spent decades trying to comprehend the mysteries of time and causality, is it? And it seemed only he could move freely back and forth within the anomaly he had somehow created. These people had been saved, true enough. He just didn't know how to undo what he had done to achieve it. Though deep meditations and esoteric devices of his own design, he began to divide the strands of past and present that led to this moment, gradually learning how to move back and forth along them, looking for a future where his efforts had already succeeded. It was there that he found the true threat, the end of everything, the great unmaking that awaits from terror. Effectively, Zilean now exists everywhere and always has. Even so, he is only aware of the consequences of trying to bring about change in the world and sparking over unexpected destinies, often conflicting and almost always more dangerous. Okay. Perhaps if he can find a way to save his own people, then the greater disaster might also be averted. The only question is, what might he be willing to sacrifice along the way? Interesting. Okay, interesting bio. Nice connection between Ikathia and Shurima. We got a little bit of the connection when we read Jax's bio, but nice to solidify that with Zilean's. Based on the whole situation with time jumping in different dimensions, I really hope he's got a specific skin. There's a certain skin I hope he has. I'm not going to say what it is just yet. Let's just see if he's got it. If he hasn't, I feel like they're missing an opportunity to do so. Anyways, as you can see there, connections to Vel'Koz from the Void, Jax, who we spoke about before, Zilean. I'm not too sure how Aatrox ties in with this, but I'm sure he does somehow. So anyways, what we're going to do now is we're going to move on to his skins. Let's go. So this is Zilean's base skin. Once a powerful Acrtual mage, Zilean became obsessed with the passage of time after witnessing his homeland destruction by the Void. Unable to spare even a minute to grieve the catastrophic loss, he called upon ancient temporal magic to divine all possible outcomes. Having become functionally immortal, Zilean now drifts through the past, present and future, bending and warping the flow of time around him, always searching for the elusive moment that will turn back the clock and undo Icathia's destruction. Okay, so the next one is Groovy Zilean. Constantly in near comatose states from peering across the space-time continuum, Zilean's more recent hobbies include being terrible at hacky sack, paying way too much for a ticket for awful music festivals, random, and ordering too many pizzas. Okay, he also owns New Age bookstore, which is closed most days. That is random. Okay, that's groovy. Shuriman, and obviously we get the connection between his hometown or his region and Shurima as well. No lore there, but nice connection between the two. That is Shuriman Desert Zilean. Love the Blood Moon theme. Blood Moon Zilean. We saw this guy in the background of, was it Blood Moon Shen? I think he was. Manipulating the lunar cycle by fueling his temporal magic with human blood, as you do. Zilean is the force or the face of the Blood Moon cult and a hellish warlock of unimaginable power. His mind exists across the flow of time, communing with legions of demons from the past, present and future. Nice. That's someone you probably won't want to meet. On to the next one, Sugar Rush. Okay, for most denizens of Candy Kingdom, there's never enough time to eat all the sweets. For Zilean, there's never enough candy to fill boy all the time. Okay. So that is that one. And then we have two more. We have Legacy Vault and Old Saint. Wow, okay, Father Christmas, don't you dare. Is that Timo I see there? Though many Santas compete to give the most holiday cheer, Zilean's mastery over the flow of time lets him deliver huge numbers of presents in an instant. So far, this has not created a reality-altering Snowdown paradox. But it has, I think. I'm sure there's a Snowdown themed skin. Okay, maybe that's the consequence. And the last one is Time Machine with no bio. Time Machine Zilean, looking like something from Piltover and Zone. Okay, so there isn't the one I thought they should have been based on his bio, and I forgot what it's called. What is it called? Bear with me. Right, I've got it. Pulsefire. There's a Pulsefire Caitlyn, Pulsefire Ezreal, Pulse Fire Lucian, and I think there's a few more. Is it Graves? There has to be a Pulse Fire Zilean, because if memory serves me right, Pulse Fire is where they kind of jump. The time jumpers out there, they go for these portals into different places, different time zones. That would be perfect fit for Zilean's bio. Anyways, they don't have it. So what I'm going to do now is I've not done his story. He doesn't have any special interactions. I'm going to go through. I'm going to run through Magikarp Use Fly's actual spotlight in a second. But before I do that, I was scrolling through Zilean on YouTube and I found a particular 1 minute 20 second, I think, long video. I'm going to watch it now. Let's go. So this is called Can't Killian The Zilean. I'm going in blind here. No idea what to expect. Okay. Exactly. What? Ah, okay. Look at his face. Okay, that's really good. I think that animation is about 9 years old. But when I searched Zilean on YouTube, it's one of the first things that came up. So I thought, I've got to watch this. I have got to watch this, and I wasn't disappointed. That was hilarious. That was really good. And so annoying. So annoying when you're playing against Zilean and he ults himself or someone else you kill. Yeah. So what I am going to do now is he has some interactions on the Legends of Runeterra side, but I'm not going to do them. I'm going to dedicate that to a separate video, so that'll be another video at another time. I'm going to finish off now with his actual spotlight. Let's go.
Welcome to League of Legends Actual Champion Spotlight.
Okay.
Zilean.
This is a pretty old one from Magikarp as well.
Keeper.
I think it's like 2014.
I've seen your death. It was painful.
Hi, I'm Zilean. I'm actually the best champion in the game, and you just don't know it yet. I am an old man, and people think that I'm not an actual threat, kind of like Master Roshi. But then I come up and I'm all like, legit, I think he's actually really good and more people need to play him. He's someone that just has a high skill cap to be played well, even though all of his abilities are point and click. Kind of like Syndra's bullshit ult. Look at me, I can press a button. Look at how BM he is.
I've seen your death. It was painful. I've seen your death. It was painful. I've seen your death. It was painful.
You got an infinite speed up and slow, your bombs chunk, and you've got a GA every 30 seconds. Sure, his damage falls off, but his utility scales so hard into late game. I mean, if I had a good Zilean on my team, I'd be like,
ho, 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 it's magic, you know. Never believe it's not so. It's magic, you know. Never believe it's not so.
he's a support mid like Soraka or Lulu and should be played like one. You know, be as annoying
I saw that, Lulu.
as you possibly can. First and foremost, before you play this guy, you have to get Groovy Zilean because, let's be honest, it's the best skin. Your passive heightened learning gives everyone on your team 8% increased experience because the longer you hang out with old people, the wiser you become. You know, unless they have Alzheimer's. Time Bomb is your Q. It's a bomb that you can place on any unit that'll explode after 4 seconds, dealing damage to everything around it. You wanna know how easy Zilean is? Look at this. 1 bomb. 2 bomb. Can DMX just be the soundtrack to Zilean? I feel like that this should be in the recommended items list. So his Q has a 90% AP ratio and can be stacked twice when you use your W, which is rewind. This is basically your bread and butter. It lowers all your abilities cooldowns by 10 seconds. So you walk up to them and Q, W, Q, throw in some autos in between there, and just watch them run away as they wait for the inevitable to happen.
The timer, mad.
Cool guys don't look at explosions. They blow things up and then walk away. Who's got time to watch an explosion? There's cool guy areas that they have to walk to. Keep walking, keep shining. Don't look back, keep on walking.
E is Zilean's Time Warp. This slow isn't as bullshit as Naz's, which is basically a stun, but it's a slow and a speed up that you can constantly cast on multiple people thanks to rewind. If you catch out anyone, you've basically got a perma slow on them, and they're forced to either fight you or just wait to die because you'll slow them by 55% every 2 seconds, which gives you enough time to spam your laugh and taunt. Zilean's ultimate is Chrono Shift.
One thing I'm quick to say here, right? The animations and the visuals of all the champions look so old in comparison to obviously what we've got now. Apart from one, Blitzcrank is exactly the same. The guy has had no update in his animations, his look, his movement since day dot. Poor Blitzcrank. That's shocking.
This ult is the best ult in the entire game. I don't care what anyone says, this is fucking badass. Rewind at max rank has a 6-second cooldown, which becomes less than 3 seconds with 40% CDR. Spamming this makes your ult cooldown become 30 seconds instead of 180, so now they can't Killian The Zilean while you get the fuck out of dodge as you pick up a kill.
Ult
30 seconds.
Here. There.
No
there
way.
You go. And now bring it to them. Customers.
Zilean is a great champ at the moment, and he's just now starting to see some LCS coverage while being played in Challenger. But just like everything new, people will judge and label Zilean as an outcast, a loser, a non-meta pick because he's different. People just don't understand him, and that's what scares them the most. They're afraid of what they don't understand. But that's fine. Let them be afraid.
And I can't change, even if I tried, even if I wanted to, and I can't change.
Squeeze.
Do you know what's crazy about this video? Like I said at the beginning, this is, I think, maybe 2014, maybe 2016, but I'm going to say it's old, basically. It's one of Magic Carp Used Fly's older videos. And it's amazing. It's just as good as his modern ones. It's so good, so well put together, so relatable even now. Yeah, the guy is really good. The guy's so talented, so talented. Anyway, love that video. For a second I thought it might not be as funny as the more recent ones. No, just as good. Anyways, yeah, I think I'm gonna leave it based on that. Hopefully you enjoyed everything I've done related to Zilean. I will be going through his Legends of Runeterra interactions at some later date, and also this Acacia special, which is going to be on the story as well. I will be covering that soon as well. So yeah, I will see you guys in the next one.